Going on, man. It's spring. It's snowing out right now. It's normal. Global warming. uh, Sitting there, and I started listening to this Book of Jubilees audiobook, and it goes right away into something that I've been a point that I rediscovered recently. That basically what it says Adam before the fall of the garden. Uh, it said all the animals spoke one language, and man and animal could all speak to one another. But after the fall, basically, God split up the animals and confounded their languages, just kind of like at the Tower of Babel when he confounded man's language. But it's uh, it's an interesting point, and it's very obscured uh, to the modern man. And then I know I know it's with reason because it entertains things that nowadays that people would consider crazy talk or uh, mental insanity. Uh, you know, uh, that's why they want to dismiss these stories off as fairy tale because they're too revealing. You know what I'm saying? Jubilees goes right into the Watchers. Uh, so there's another thing: the angels, the giants. They don't want people knowing these things, obviously for a reason. Uh, and let me think. What's the other point? It started talking directly right away. It says there's a reason why we're supposed to observe the feast days, and there was a reason why that. Look. In those times, you would say it's the first day of the first month or the fifth day of the third month. There was no names of months. There was no names of days. They were just numbered. So we've come far away from that, and it was prophesied in Jubilees that if mankind uh, stopped obeying the feast days and follow after the feasts of the Gentiles, which we do. That's why, you know, what is it? What do they call it now? Resurrection Sunday. It was called Easter. That's why people put on costumes on Halloween. That's why the birth of the unconquerable Son is called Christmas. You know what I'm saying? It's because we are doing exactly what Jubilees prophesied that we should not do because we didn't. At some point in time, they switched up the times, and that's exactly what it said. You know what I'm saying? There'll be disorder, and people won't really know. They won't know one way from another about nothing about the time. And then it's like, basically, it's kind of almost saying like, listen, this is once this happens, it's another end times prophecy sign. It's that man is totally in confusion. You know what I'm saying? That we don't even know the time. We can. There's no way for us to know the year and the time and the day, because our whole system we've been taught of time is misrepresentation. It was a deception, a clever deception, and these points, you don't even got to get that far into it, and it's already showing you right away things, and it's reiterating Genesis 6. Uh, the animal thing, like I said, that's something just recently. It's like I've been uh, discovering is that there's more. There's a connection there, but I mean uh, it's not nothing that you do. It's not. It's just a time. It was there's a reason that I've been entertained to this because it's like I guess I was had to have these questions here by the events that I seen in my life, and then now I go look back and reconfirm some of these things I was entertaining in my mind. Like how can you answer this? It's like when you look at a math problem and it just shows you this beginning numbers, it shows you the answer, but then in the middle it's blank. It's like an A, B, or a C or whatever, dude. They do it in representation of what it is. So it's kind of like that. Uh, but yeah, I think everyone should study the extra biblical texts that are biblically endorsed. Book of Jude, quotes directly from the book of Enoch, and then it says Enoch, who was a prophet. So therefore, Enoch, the first Enoch, is one of the books of the prophets. And in Joshua, when it talks about when the sun stood still, it says, "Is this not written in the book of Joshua?" And it also talks about how the Israelites got their bowmanship from the other tribes, and it says, "Is this not written in the book of Joshua?" Let me think. And then, not sure, but I know I seen Jubilees quoted in the Bible too. But it's probably in the, like I said, I like to call it the Middle Testament. It's what's in between the New Testament and the Torah. You know what I mean? It's like they don't. It's like they don't really like you reading that stuff, because now you got you're a foothold on historical relevance. You know what I'm saying? And this is the time when people were kind of, they were having an internal battle between following after their God or following after the ways of man. You know what I'm saying? And the only way you can see what these differences are is if you actually go back and study for yourself and see what these things actually mean. You know, because there's a lot of people that like to deceive these days by acting like it's just this, like everything was paganism from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, there's two philosophies. There's paganism. That's just the worship of nature. That's the way, like if you say man came from monkeys, well, you're worshiping nature. If you say man's his own God, you're worshiping nature, because we are partially, we're partially part of this nature. You know what I'm saying? But then there's another part of us that's beyond nature. You know what I'm saying? So you're only narrowing in on one aspect, the physical aspect of all things. And it's like there's things that are non-physical that go on around us all the time. Just in you look in physics, particles. There's all these particles. They say that particles they're like fluid, man. They're like they're material and immaterial at the same time. Like the forces that hold them together are immaterial. You cannot see them. And it's hard even sometimes to pinpoint what these forces even are. So it's immaterial. So therefore, if you want to base everything that you know off of material things, you're blinded. You're deceived already. The fact that, listen, I could just in faith said a long time ago, I believe in things I cannot see. And listen, I would have been the wise man for it, because now you can prove through like things like CERN, the Hadron Collider, that there's invisible forces that holds everything together. You know what I'm saying? They proved it. You know what I mean? And when people already knew this anyway, but if you just look back into faith and spiritualism, you'd see that these things were always known about. But just now, you almost can prove it. But I mean, do you really want to, crack open the abyss to prove that hell is real? You know what I'm saying? That it's a real realm. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they'll try. That's my perception on CERN, that it's some kind of interdimensional gateway. You know what I mean? It's besides just a scientific study research machine. You know, they always come in the name of science or something that's gonna help humanity. You know what I'm saying? Well, they want to help humanity by getting rid of 90% of the population. That's not my speculation. That's their documents. That's their, and then you can hear people parrot this shit in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are buying it. So they're all caught up in this. Even the people that don't believe in the Bible, they're still caught up in the apocalyptic fervor, because they like the Ordo Archeo. You know what I'm saying? They're all in on the motherfucking Albert Pike Muzzini letter, World War III document that they say is fake, but yet it's coming to pass daily. I see it, what they're doing. You know, like they said, they'll turn the Muslim against the Jew and the Christian against the Muslim and the Jew, and they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? So the only way to combat these deceivers is to actually just go back and just look for yourself. So once you've seen it for yourself, You can't deny it no more. It's like, all right, someone hid this intentionally. Why did you hide it? Look at the information, what it says. Oh, okay, they want to dumb us down. You know what I'm saying? They want to give you that this replacement gospel. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's what it boils down to. Because if you disrupt the foundation, everything built on that foundation is unstable. That's the whole thing. If you're basing your faith off of this mainstream, watered down, dumbed down, despiritualized, and just it's just deceptive. It is deceptive. Or why would you not address these issues that are contained within the book which you could claim to follow? So these are just questions that, when I look at people and I see them, they're not really discussing these certain obscure topics which are relevant. You know what I'm saying? They don't add they don't add like misconception. They actually get rid of it, because it's like, okay, now I have, the Bible says this, let 3 witnesses agree. That is reconfirmed through the Bible. Look, a 3-fold cord is not easily broken. That is basically this: the Torah, the Middle Testament, and the Gospel. These 3 witnesses agree that the Moses's thing, the prophets confirmed Moses's, but in Moses himself even spoke of in the future how God's going to come set things right. The prophets prophesy the one who is going to come to take away the sins. And then when the one who came to take away the sins came, he reconfirmed the prophets and Moses. So these 3 witnesses, there's 3 witnesses, whether I witness or not. A 4th witness, you know what I'm saying? But no, there's hundreds of thousands of them out there. There's all kinds of people expressing these same feelings I'm having, trying to re-navigate this dark, slippery slope here, which is the truth. You love of the truth. I mean, someone made a good point. It's not the truth that's so important, which it is very important, but it's the love of it. The love of it is what keeps you seeking. The love of it is when you've been tricked. What makes you push past them blocks that have been set in place from you actually getting a true view of these things that, like I said, they're not easily known, because there's a cover up. It must someone in high places, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. So someone in high places has obscured things, and they didn't do it for no reason. One thing, if you study evil people, you realize how smart they are. I mean, because here's the thing, they rely totally on their self and their abilities. So I mean, which makes them, very strong and smart and cunning, but yet it also limits them, because they depend on themselves and their own abilities, which is their limitation there. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't never bust out unless, they have some kind of, they have to humble themselves first. So that's the thing, it's like, yeah, man, churchianity. They're even being more obscured now than ever before. I mean, there was a reason that this all started, man, look, it's Latin. No one spoke Latin except for priests from Rome. So, and all the Bibles were written in Latin, and then handed out to people, and they would open the Bible and they wouldn't know what it even said. They did that intentionally. So, it's in the same spirit that people have kept this stuff out. Hey, I found it now, so why haven't you found it? You know what I'm saying? Why haven't you discussed these things? Why haven't you took into consideration what these other testimonies say? You know what I'm saying? Because by each one reconfirms another. So, you know what I'm saying? Why would you purposefully overlook that? don't make sense.